AI, technology, money, they're all tools, right? So use the
Mhm.
tool, don't be a tool.
Welcome to Fry Your Chickens, the podcast about facing fears, negativities, and self doubts that can hold us back. Or as I like to call them, chickens. Get ready because it's time to tell those chickens that are holding you back to shut the cluck up. We will learn how real people did exactly that. I'm your host, Phil Barth. Let's get ready to fry. What if the answers to life's biggest questions could be found in just 4 words? That's what today's guests talk about in their latest book. Please welcome to the Fry Your Chickens podcast, father and daughter, Erik and Maddie Larson. Welcome.
Woohoo!
The applause was a little late there, but we'll go with it. So, Erik, Maddie, welcome to both of you. I'm glad to have you. Okay, and you get a second round of applause.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to start right now by talking about your book. The book is Be, Do, Give, Love. Erik, let's start with you. What was the backstory behind the book?
Yeah, backstory behind the book is I had this framework, just like many of our friends, trying to figure out what's the latest book? How do I take an idea to market? How do I, help people distill 20 plus years worth of whatever it is I've learned along the way into something teachable? And so, beginning in 2025, had these 4 words, about ready to go to print, and then life happened. My mom died. I realized that the 4th word in this framework was so wrong that I basically had to throw everything away. And so that's the genesis of the book. The other fun things that, we might want to chat about is how Maddie's involved, but that's a series of road trips and conversations. And that's actually how we met you too, was in New Orleans. So last year in New Orleans.
That's right. Oh, we're going to talk about the chapter that Maddie wrote in a bit here. But spoiler alert, Maddie, I loved it. So
Oh,
the first chapter, I haven't made it past that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Now, Erik, what I like about this book is there's a couple of stories early on. I'm assuming you had several family stories. One about a jellyfish sting, and then the one that inspired your mom to say, and I quote, Erik Richard Larson, that is the most asinine thing you have ever done in your entire life. So, at least to that point, what was the most asinine thing you had ever done?
As it's told in family lore, I pushed my mom down the mountain. And of course, it's funny. I was in Dallas just a few days ago, and my dad said, "Hey, I think I found some pictures from that trip." And I will soon be able to document for everyone that it was not a mountain. It was a nice hill. It was fun. My sister and I had fun running up and down the hill and lured my mom up to the top with promises of extra fun, I guess. And somewhere along the way, she needed a little bit of encouragement, and I, helped her out. And so you can read the rest in the book, I guess. But
Yes,
yes,
I
it's
will
snow
say this.
everywhere.
I
So
will say this much: there was snow on the mountain. He was not pushing his mom down a rocky mountain. Now, my next question is for Maddie. How many times have you heard these stories?
oh my gosh. Like too many to count. Like actually too many to count. Like my entire life, every single Christmas, Thanksgiving, family reunion, trip, every time, every single time.
I
I
love it.
can't count. I can't
If
count.
if you ever want to start a support group, all 3 of my sons would probably want to be members as well for the
Okay.
repeated stories that dads tell. It's what we
I'll
do.
reach out.
Yeah, yeah. I can connect you to them on LinkedIn. I also love the line, and this is the last line I will take from your book because people hear this, they're going to say, "I want this book." You didn't know what asinine meant, but you thought it was somewhere between ass 8 and ass 10. Just
That's my 8-year-old brain trying to process this new word. My
I
funny, my dad asked me, he said, "Where did that come from?" And I'm like, well, I remember exactly when I was pondering the word asinine, and it was, walking from elementary school. I'm describing the field I was walking across. He's like, oh, okay. And I was talking to this childhood friend and this childhood friend, and one of them had said, hey, I learned a new cuss word. What is it? It's called an ass nine. And I was like, ooh. That's great. So my dad's question, he's like, wait, which of those events came first? I'm like, Dad, I really don't know. It's all the same childhood brain, It's like that grade 3 to 4 or 5, something like that.
oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna have that every time. But kudos to you for that. For the ass 8 ass 10 story. I apologize for the applause, and I thought I deleted it, but apparently I did not. So it's gonna be a wild applause filled podcast. I can tell you that right now.
Awesome.
Ass 8 ass 10. I don't know. Dirty Dozen, the 10 asses. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So love it. That's the first time we've probably had ass 8 and ass 10 mentioned on this podcast. It's all good.
Brought to you by the animal ass and the numbers 8 and 10.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. So, just gonna. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. We'll get to chickens later. If you're listening to it, I just brought up the Red Rooster of Regret, aka Lord Cluckington, and told him it's okay. All right. We now turn to Maddie.
Oh.
And Maddie, you're the reason I did not read the entire book. And the reason is, no, it's a good reason.
Okay.
Because when I got to your chapter about what happened in Las Vegas, something that didn't stay in Las Vegas, when you went to the mastermind and you talked about communicating to your generation, I stopped. I said, I've got to read this. I've got to note this. I've got to process this. Much like the other speakers who were in that room. We did something similar in New Orleans, but I didn't get to hear your take on things. I was like, I've got to process this and use it as I grow my speaking business. So tell me about the experience and what happened, because you had them eating out of the palm of your hand. I know. So
Well, I think when I'm like nervous, I talk a lot and I don't remember what I say at all. So I just kind of like blah 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 blah. And I was just trying to answer this to the best of my ability, but I didn't really know what I was saying. And I thought that it was a little hard because I'm like I'm yes like I'm Gen Z, but how many millions other Gen Z people are there? And I don't want to like speak for everyone else and then like because there are like everyone else is screenagers and they're always on their phones and all this stuff. But then I'm like, but that's not me. But I have friends that are like that, so I can speak for me, but I can't speak for everyone else. So I didn't want to, I didn't want it to come off wrong and then I don't know. But
well,
it was good. I was happy to be done with it.
well, two things. First off, you were the only Gen Z person in that room. And
Yes.
second off, based on what I read in the book, there were a lot of people taking notes furiously to capture what you're saying. Because as speakers, we now need to know how to market to Gen Z. And I think you gave a lot of ideas on that. And there's a quote in the book. It's not FOMO, it's FOFU. Instead of fear of missing out, it's fear of
Messing
messing
up.
up
Yes.
and the fear of being wrong. And I really like that. And if you think about that in your marketing, and there's a lot of gold in this, and I'm not going to give away all the gold because they should buy your book. But as someone who is not a Gen Z, but has, I don't know where the cutoff is, at least one, if not two Gen Z kids. What's the cutoff?
Um,
Is it 2000, right? The birth year is 2000.
That's what I suspected. Okay, I've got one on either
honestly, I
side of
don't
the
know.
border. I got one on either side of the border. And so that's the next audience, right? For speakers. So we need to know how to communicate them. And the world is obviously moving fast. with AI being now the way that people find speakers. But it's not just, oh, I need to be found on AI. It's when the phone rings and I've got somebody of a different generation, I need to know how to communicate to them. And when I get hired, I need to know how to communicate to that audience. And I think that was the value you brought to the session in Las Vegas.
I think a lot of people, how do I word this? Not Gen Z and generations above, right? You know,
Older.
whenever, yes,
I'll say
older,
it. I'll
older.
say it.
Thank you.
You're
I think,
elders.
but not, but I don't, I wouldn't say, I'd say y'all, like y'all are older than me, but you're not elderly, you know? So like people that are older than me, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. No, I don't know why I said things. Oh my gosh, it sent hearts.
Yeah, that's the MacBook. It does the little heart emojis. When you make the heart, the
It
screen will
doesn't
do
do
the
that.
heart emojis. Do you have a Mac?
I do.
Well,
We're all like,
huh.
Yeah, okay. Anywho,
But
anywho.
anyway, you gotta turn it on, and it only does it sometimes. And like if I scratch my arm like this, it does the thumbs up emoji, even though I didn't mean to. There, oh, see, there are ways to make this happen. Yeah, you know.
Okay, I'm
rock
getting
star.
jealous.
All
I'm
right.
getting
In
jealous.
the show notes, I will put a link on how to turn on. And,
Yes.
and oh, by the way, it's not difficult to turn on, but it is like cement trying to back out of it. I've been
Oh,
told.
well,
Little
I think that'd
embarrassing
be
in a
cool.
professional setting.
I kind of
Yeah,
want.
that's
I hope I have an interview and then it's like,
okay. So
yes, sorry.
going back to what you were talking about,
I was trying to
the
make a disclaimer. Older people, okay?
right.
Older people. When I just, and this might be a me thing, a personal thing, I have no idea, but I think like when older people learn how to use AI and stuff, and then they use that to market, but it's like so terribly wrong. It's like you almost just like if you see someone this sounds terrible. If you see someone like advertising like that, then you're just like, ooh, like I don't like it makes you think they're not credible almost because
Right.
it's like this older person like doesn't even know how to work their computer. Like not that I know how to work a computer, but I'm like it just like and there's nothing wrong with them or their message or anything, but it makes you like it kind of like there's just something in your head that's like, "Ooh, that doesn't look right to me." So I'm not going to put my attention into that because that looks off. That's might just be a me thing.
No, it absolutely is not. That is perfectly valid. I will dismiss people. Look, it's not just Gen Z or other generations of that age close to it that have short attention spans anymore. You have to catch people's attention right freaking now, and that even goes to those of us who aren't older but are of a certain age.
And it has
And
to pertain to them. So it's
right. And you've got just a little bit to capture my attention and screw it up with an ugly AI graphic. Screw it up with content that looks obviously AI.
mhm.
My LinkedIn profile starts with a dot Phil Barth. If you send me something that says dot or dear dot Phil, that is all I will read of that message.
Right.
I so there are so many ways that you can screw it up. And so to your point, yeah, use AI, sure. Use AI poorly, no.
Yeah.
And
And I
one of
felt like a
the
lot of
go
questions
for
were
it.
like AI, AI, AI. That's why I just said all that
I
because I
agree.
felt like a lot of questions were about that. I'm like, I'm not an expert on AI. I don't know. But
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. I try to simplify AI to saying, okay, you have at your disposal the world's smartest intern, and I'm going to steal the second part of the line from a friend of mine, speaker friend of mine. It's just that the intern sometimes shows up to work drunk and hallucinates, but treat it as such. You don't say to the intern, hey, I'm going to just park my brain and you do all the thinking for me. You don't do that.
Mhm.
You just give it very specific things that will save you time. Just make it
Yeah.
simple.
I think AI, technology, money, they're all tools, right? So use the
Mhm.
tool. Don't be a tool.
Oh, I love that quote. That may be the show opening quote right there.
Dun dun
Erik
dun.
Larson. Use the tool. Don't be a tool.
Are you like PR trained?
Who me?
No, Dad.
Yeah, like I said, you know, hell no, not you, Phil.
No, 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 you obviously are. You obviously are. I mean, I'm like, blabbling, and that's not a word. I'm babbling, and you're like, and this and this and this and this and this and this.
Punchline.
I think if you speak long enough, it starts flowing. I don't know.
I've found over my career of it's the same problem. It doesn't matter the size of the organization I work with. It doesn't matter how many people. It doesn't matter the mix. Define mix however you want. It doesn't matter the experience. Right? It's all the same fundamental problems. So at this point in my career, I find myself saying the same thing over and over again. So if it comes off a little polished every once in a while, I didn't just think of that line. I've said it probably way too many times, but never with such great enthusiasm from a podcast host. So
Yes,
I like it.
it was very very well said. And I actually learned. I had this boss middle of my career somewhere, and I was like, this dude tells the same story and uses the same expressions over and over and over again. And then it hit me. It's like, and it works every single time. So once you find something that works, you just kind of stick with it.
Mhm.
Nice.
Second appearance of the Red Rooster of Regret if you're listening to the podcast. All right, so on the Fry Your Chickens podcast, we have a talking puppy. This, in my humble opinion, is a good use of AI. And the talking puppy will ask you a question. Talking
Ooh.
puppy's name is Darcy. I'm going to bring Darcy to the screen. As you can see, she was filmed in Australia with her boomerang. There's the Sydney Opera House in the background, and she had a question for Erik and Maddie. So here we go. Darcy.
Good day, Erik and Maddie. You recently went to the land down under. What was your favorite part of Australia?
All right, so Darcy wants to know, you both recently went to Australia for a conference, I believe. Tell me about it, and what was your favorite part of Australia?
Yeah, you go first.
So why we went to Australia was to talk about our book. And so we got to spend a few minutes on the main stage answering questions and just, well, kind of like this, having a good time. My favorite part of going to Australia was actually that, being on stage with my daughter. That was awesome. That was so much fun and meeting friends, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Maddie's favorite part of Australia had something to do with the UV.
No.
The UV.
That was no. No. No, no. The first day I went, okay, hold on. I have two things to say. I had three. I have two. Two. Basically, well, I went and I tanned the first day that I got there, or the second day, I guess I got there. The UV was 6, okay? A UV of 6 in America, you're fine. You can stay out for hours. You're totally, totally fine. A UV of 6 in Australia, we were out for 2 hours. I was peeling for the next 2 weeks. I was completely red, peeled everywhere. It was bad. I looked like a reptile, a snake. Um, so I don't think that was my favorite part, but thanks for putting words in my mouth. Second, and then being on stage, I was actually like deathly sick and I had taken like a bunch of like cough medicine and like cough drops. I played it
You
cool.
would never know.
No
Like there
one
was
even
no
knew.
coughing.
Yeah, and I was like, it was like a bad cough attack too. So like, I don't know how I did not cough at all. And I'm like sweating. I had like a fever. It was really bad, but no one even knew. Oh, and my face is blistered too. So I couldn't even put on makeup or like I tried to put on some makeup, but I'm like blistering. But I'd say my favorite day was at the end of our trip, my parents flew to New Zealand and I flew to Sydney and I had a day in Sydney by myself. And I think that was my favorite day.
Nice.
And it was St. Patrick's Day too. And I tried to
Ooh.
get this for the first time. So,
Yeah, I have both Australia and New Zealand on my bucket list. And with any kind of luck, it I will be speaking at some conferences over there this fall. If you are listening to this and someone who I submitted the proposal for the keynote, say yes. Say yes.
Mhm.
And if you need a sidekick, like
All right.
say yes multiple times. So yeah, all the above.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is it,
By the
would it,
way, go ahead, Maddie. No, please.
oh, it was just a silly question. I was just wondering what season it would be there in fall.
Spring.
Spring. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you guys need, yeah, what you
Okay. All right. So
said.
we're all available basically for Oceania adventure. So all
All
right, we
right.
got that. Do your chickens eat jellyfish? I mean, I have a little jellyfish. I'm thinking ahead to props and all that. We want to make sure that, the whole families all get along. That's very important.
Have y'all seen Moana? No,
Okay.
no.
I have not. I have
All
not.
right.
The only closest I think to Australia that I've gotten in terms of the Disney would be the Dory, the goldfish. Wasn't that all around Australia? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the turtles and the East
Right.
Australian
Right. I'm
current.
flaking on the name, but
I
the
saw a porcupine stingray, and only two other people have spotted this porcupine stingray. That was actually my
wow.
favorite part. Sorry. Okay.
No, that's cool.
And cool footage. Like you have video or something from that. Yeah, very,
He was
very
super cute.
unique.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm
That
so sorry.
that made the UV worth it, right? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, they put me in a stinga suit, is what they called it. So
You got the accent and everything.
I have a really bad problem about mimicking their accent, not in a mean way, but I'm so infatuated by it that I just have to repeat it.
Man,
Kangaroo.
as long as it's not
Nar. Nar.
and now it's you said kangaroo and now I'm thinking of the movie Kangaroo Jack. So there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna stop with the accents.
No, 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 it's all good. If you're not doing it in a mean way, I
No,
think
I just love it. I wish I was Australian, truthfully.
we'll bring the entourage to Australia. All I got to do is get the gig. Now, Maddie, I stalked you a little bit on LinkedIn as I did your father, and I have learned that you are about to graduate college, correct?
I am May 9th. May 9th.
May 9th. That is
1 p.m.
exactly 1 month and 1 day from when we are recording this. P.S. It is also 1 month and 2 days from her birthday. Maddie's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday. But you are graduating from the University of
University of
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yes.
So congratulations. You excited?
I am, but I'm doing my master's online, so I technically have one more year.
Nothing wrong with that. What's your degree in?
HR management, business.
Well, okay, so I am the intersection of Eric and Maddie because I came up through IT and it was human resource systems that I
Oh,
started. I was supporting human resource systems and for the first half of the career, and then I got into manufacturing and it was nice to I wouldn't trade any of my background, but manufacturing was so much more fun. I'm gonna come out and say it. And then I supported the sales group, and our IT group was notoriously cheap in terms of parties and that sort of thing. And the sales group, they don't know how to go cheap. And so they kept bringing me in for their parties. And that's when I realized I like to travel, I like to speak, and I like expensive parties. So that led to the next career.
so
Oh,
no HR.
it's okay. This may get cut.
Okay, that's fine.
This may get cut. But yes, HR, as long as your HR is focused on how to get the most performance out of the humans, how to grow them, and all that. If the HR is a group of cops that are just policing then no. No.
Mm.
And it was early on that we got a vice president that wanted to focus more on human performance and what we could do to make the most of the organization. That's critical. That is absolutely critical.
That's what we learn in school, so hopefully
Yeah,
everyone will be like that.
I can tell you from experience that's it. And I believe as AI becomes more prevalent, you're going to have to focus even more on human performance and how we grow humans in the world of AI and how we do things like soft skills, emotional intelligence, yada, yada, yada. And I will now get off my soapbox. And you just heard, I don't know if you heard it or not, but Darcy gave me a bark of amen from upstairs. So,
Oh,
Oh, so Darcy's real.
yeah, yeah, Darcy is real. Darcy is our
Oh,
puppy. She is no longer a puppy. So here's the backstory. And because everybody comments on my YouTube videos, mine, they're Darcy's, that's AI. It's like, well, yes and no. It is a picture of Darcy the puppy who jumped up on the couch at a very young age, and then I just take it to Gemini and I say, okay, put her in Australia, give her a boomerang. That does that.
Okay. She looked real. I just was like, wait, but you weren't in Australia. So that's why I was
Yep.
confused.
I
Yeah.
put her in Australia. I put her on Bourbon Street. I've given her every kind of outfit in the jungle with a pith helmet, you name it. And then I use HeyGen to animate the script. So
Okay.
this morning I was like, this happened in 15 minutes before I went to the gym. Made the picture. They're fighting upstairs, but made the picture and then had HeyGen. I was like, what do I want to hear from Eric? What does Darcy want to hear from Eric and Maddie? I was like, oh, clearly Australia. Boom. Put the script in, and there you have it.
I liked that way that you used AI, by the way.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And it keeps Darcy at the young, small puppy stage as opposed to the really big, strong dog that she is now. Meanwhile, I'm going to go over to Eric because, as I mentioned, Eric and I both have the IT background. Eric, tell me about your non-speaking career as a CTO and strategic advisor. What do you do for folks?
I'm the guy they bring in to do two things. One, a little bit of an assessment. I can speak technology and I can also speak, I'll call it banker. How's that? So investors are always trying to figure out what in the heck are those propeller heads actually saying? What did they build? Does it really work? Right. So it's all those kind of questions. So that is my background, 20 plus years writing code and leading teams. And so I speak the technology language, but I've also been entrepreneurial all my life. And so like I was saying earlier, it's the same problems, the same solutions, it's the same issues really everywhere. And so being able to understand the business world, the technology world, allows me to write a lot of prescriptions, and every once in a while I get a chance to administer the medicine, and that's the Mary Poppins part of my job, where I get to kind of parachute in and work with a team that's in transition. They're usually leaderless, and so I step in and I'm that interim leader until the wind changes direction, and by that time, of course, all the toys are back in their drawers neatly. No, it's never that clean and simple, but that's the idea, to be a part of that transition, to be a part of that process. And so that's what I love. I think that's the overlap between what Maddie's studying, on the HR side and what I've seen for, the last couple decades now. It's as leaders and managers, we need to change or create that environment in which our people, our individual contributors can be maximally effective. And like you mentioned, Phil, AI is really changing some of that, but it has to come back to the humans who are working with the machines, not this some sort of dystopian hell that people keep getting concerned about. We are very, very far away from that, in my opinion.
Agree 100%. 100%. Next question. One of the things I noticed that you've been doing, Eric, is you've been bringing back your grandfather's books. Tell me about your grandfather's books.
So my grandfather wrote two books in his lifetime and almost finished a third. And it's that third book, which is the one my mom was most passionate about. And so she was kind of functioning as the editor. That was his World War II memoir. So all of the stories that he had written about his World War II experience, both in his first and second books, were brought together, added a few more stories, and his vision or his hope was that more people would know about the CBI theater of World War II, which I don't even know if you know what that is. Have you come across that or heard that?
I do not. No.
So again, World War II, in America, we're taught that there were two theaters, right? The European theater and the Pacific theater. So this is kind of that intermediate space where I guess it's technically the Pacific theater, but it's more of an airlift almost. And so my grandfather flew cargo planes, C-46 cargo planes over the Himalaya mountains. And they called that the hump. And so his book is called Stories from the Hump. And so it was his 72 and a half missions that he flew over the hump, delivering cargo, and they had some interesting experiences, of course, as you can imagine, where the aircraft stops working and they were about to jump out the back, and one time the instruments freeze up, and then another time they can't see. So it's all of those kind of stories, and that's really a work that I thought 20 years ago was pretty much done. My mom finished that book, the Hump book, in 2005, a year after he died, and we just sort of laid it to rest. But there's a few things that we just didn't do back then. Uh, Kind of on-demand publishing was really just gaining force. There wasn't a KDP, there wasn't a Nook. We didn't have digital devices that were so easy to consume. So a lot has changed in the last 20 years. But this on-demand publishing and the ability for you or me or anyone to publish a book is so much easier now. And so we thought, gosh, if we're going to do this all over again, maybe we'll update not just the covers, and that's a huge change, but also to have ISBN numbers. And my mom's dream would have been to get these books into the Library of Congress. And so it's all of that dream. I just unpacked a whole bunch of stuff, but that's really how Maddie and I started working together last summer. She was an intern for our publishing company, and so that's why she went on the road with me, cigar peg events. I'm like, hey, let's talk about this cool project we're doing. We're republishing my grandfather's books. And so she was instrumental in getting them publisher ready, started working through, I guess two, right? Two of the three manuscripts you had a heavy influence in, and so that's the backstory.
Wait, I grabbed all the from number three though. I got all of that. I just didn't edit it. Then I gave it to Kira and Ashlyn.
Her sisters. So when Maddie
Yeah,
went back to
sorry.
school, we had to keep the train going. We had this great thing going, republishing, my grandfather, their great grandfather's books. And so she was able to hand over the work that she was doing to her older sisters, who are still working with me to this day. And they now help us publish all the other books, including Maddie and my book. So a little bit of a family business we have going on here.
That's great. I love that. Maddie, anything to add about your grandfather's books? It'd be your great grandfather's books.
Yeah, I'd never met him, so obviously I heard stories about him and stuff, from life and whatnot, but I think it was cool just getting to read all of those stories because he would talk about my grandma and all that stuff, and it was just cool hearing like it's family, so their history.
Oh,
And
what about New Orleans? Phil was there. We got to go to the World War II Museum.
oh yeah, we were there and we took a picture in front of the plane thing.
His like one of his planes?
There's an exhibit in there
Yeah.
for CBI, and so Maddie and I found that, took a picture. Of course, we also took pictures with Randy, Winston Churchill. So
You have to, yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it
right.
was just kind of that's how all that started. And then it was through the rest of the trips that we had taken, New Orleans, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and my dad was just talking all about life and whatnot. And then I talk a lot, so I just give my perspective on everything. And then he was like, wait, we should do this together. And then so basically like in the book, it's like at the end of each chapter, it's like me or whatever, but it's basically like he would write that and I would just be like, well, I think blah 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, okay, so put it in. But it did start with my great grandfather's books. Yes, to tie it in.
I did like that in the book that I'm reading. It was your perspective on a few chapters, and then you kind of wrote the Las Vegas chapter.
Yeah, but then the rest of the book is still it's all my dad and I didn't do any more.
Oh darn it! Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Cut that out, cut that out.
Uh,
Maddie's chapter is speaking of AI. People are always interested to know, like, hey, did you use AI to write your book? And I'll say this: I tried, and it was terrible. I tried to have AI help make anything I wrote better, wrong. But there is one part of the book that I am grateful for. tooling. So that session in Las Vegas that Maddie and I and several of our friends attended, we used one of the voice transcription services to capture that. So I actually had a transcript to go back and, refer to. So like those quotes, like those are actual quotes. Maddie said the brilliant things that she said, in that meeting. So that's great. Some of the other stuff, we're relying on my memory. And so, some of those things happened way back in 1980 something, but to the best of my recollection, the rest of it's true.
It's based on a true story.
There you go.
And and I've learned if they can say the movie Cocaine Bear is based on a true story, anything can be based on a true story because the true story, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but the true story
That's
is
based on a true story?
that's what they say. I mean, you know what the true story is? A bear ate some cocaine and died. That was the whole thing. Some guy fell out. I guess some guy fell out of a plane. The bear ate the guy. The guy had cocaine bags in him or whatever, and the bear died. The end. They found a dead bear that had coked out. Period. That was the whole story that the movie was based on. So I know, Eric,
That's ridiculous.
your jellyfish story and many others are way, way more based on a true story than that.
Absolutely.
So
That's crazy.
a lot of my keynote stuff is based on a true story. Totally gonna cut that.
No.
Okay, on the Fry Your Chickens podcast, we have one other use of AI. I will let Maddie weigh in on whether it's good AI or bad AI after we're done. It is the Fry Your Chickens house band. They introduce the most important question. The name of the band is Lord Cluckington and the Headbangers. I will now share them, and they will give the heavy metal song introduction to the most important question. Here they are. All right, so there's Lord Cluckington and the Headbangers, and we're off.
It's time for the big question because everybody cares. Fight one bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears.
That was awesome.
Okay. I will tell you, I think it needs to be updated. It's 6 months old or 5 months old, which in AI is an eternity. And I could probably do a better version, but it is based on a real life rubber chicken. Lord Cluckington is also known as the Red Rooster of Regret. He has been on multiple continents. He travels with me, and if the posse, our entourage rather, goes to New Zealand and Australia, he'll be there.
Ew.
Awesome.
That's a relief.
Suddenly, Maddie's like, "Yeah, I'm out.
No, I'm excited. Whew.
I'm out." So we think that's a good use of AI.
Yeah.
And clearly it is AI, but I'm not making any pretensions that it's not. But back to the most important question, one that has evolved over the life of the podcast. Which would you rather fight? One bear-sized chicken or 100 chicken-sized bears, and why? And I'm going to let Maddie go first.
I might need a second to think.
I'm going to let Eric go first.
Wait.
I'm going to
100
let Maddie go
chicken sized.
first.
No. Wait. Clarifying question first. 100 chicken-sized bears
Yes.
or one bear-sized.
Bear-sized chicken.
Okay. Dad, you go first.
I will take the one bear-sized chicken, and thank you that I only have to focus on one attacker.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna go with 100
Chicken-sized
chicken-sized
bears.
bears because you have to think about it this way. It's a chicken, right? Sized. That's like a dog. Okay, it's just like you have ooh.
Well,
I
little
mean,
dog.
Like
Like
little
young
dogs. Yeah.
Darcy, not current Darcy.
Yeah, and then you can just run, right? But you see, if you're up against that chicken-sized bear, it's gonna come down, quack or whatever. No, not quack. Oh my gosh, chicken noise.
Ah!
Yes, it's gonna get you by the head, whereas you can run away from the little puppy dog bears.
I well thought out. Well
What do
done.
you think? What would you choose?
Who, me?
Yes.
I have gone back and forth on this. There have been a couple. My son, when I posed this question to him originally, asked a wonderful clarifying question: do I get a weapon? If I get a weapon, let's say a sword, I'm going with the one bear-sized chicken, barbecue afterwards. Uh,
Okay.
Another clarifying question is that people have asked is, do I get to say what type of bear?
Mm.
Because if it's 100 chicken-sized polar bears, I think you're screwed. Polar bears are mean; they're awful. If you can outrun them, you're good, but otherwise they will eat you. If it's 100 chicken-sized Winnie the Pooh bears, you're probably all right. And somebody pointed out on a previous podcast, if it's 100 chicken-sized gummy bears, I'll take that.
Hey, that's a
So,
good answer.
That's good.
so I have the kind of unfair advantage of having heard probably 40 answers to this point, and if I get a weapon, so to your point, if I get a weapon, I'm going against the big one. If I don't get a weapon, I'm going to try and run, regardless of what kind of bear it is.
Well, I didn't know we could ask clarifying questions.
Okay, so given that, does that change your answer? Probably not, because you could do
Well,
100 gummy
yeah,
bears.
because if you get a weapon, that changes the whole thing.
Right.
And the type of bear changes the whole thing. If you're going off of your gut instinct, like which one you would choose, I think that's cheating. I think clarifying questions are cheating. I do.
So the moral of the story is cheat more, but it's a good thing
Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, exactly.
Wait, how?
because clarifying questions are cheating, but the more clarifying questions we ask, the closer you get to the winning solution, and you want to win, right? Like you want to
Well,
get this right.
and the
Well,
other, no,
I
go
just like
ahead.
I don't like people having a more thought out, better answer than me, you know? So I'm like, obviously, if I were to ask, oh, this, and this, then yeah, I'd have a great answer. You know,
Okay,
it's just a
okay.
question. It's
You know what,
okay.
Maddie? You win for best answer without clarifying questions. How about
Thank
that?
you. Thank you. Yeah,
That's
I
all
needed
you
that.
wanted, right?
Yes, thank you.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yes. And an extra large chicken if you have a weapon. The other way you could have taken this was, I'm going to assume I get a weapon, and I couldn't have said, well, no, because
I don't carry a weapon around on the day-to-day basis, so why I
you
would
don't
never.
fight you don't fight bear-sized chickens on a day-to-day basis.
See,
Right, but
my mind went,
if I'm planted in the woods and I get
Yeah.
set these, I'm not gonna have a weapon on me. I'm gonna have my phone, maybe some lip gloss.
okay, I was full out
On the
landed
beak.
in Narnia, like, and I had already climbed a tree halfway up. I had my sword, and as soon as Phil gave me the option for just one, I was going to fly through the air, whack its head off, and then be done with this before I even landed. So, like, anyway, that's how quickly I went into fantasy land right there.
See, that's why we can't ask clarifying questions because you get to cheat around the fact.
Okay, all right. Well, then I stand corrected. Clarifying questions are from the devil, and we shall ask no more of them.
A card laid is a card played.
Play the
Oh
hand you're dealt.
God. Oh my God. That's that my grandmother. A card laid is a card played.
I don't follow that rule, but yes.
Yeah.
It
When we were
sounds
born.
good for a podcast, but
Yeah.
don't live by it.
Yes. If you're playing Pinochle with my grandmother in the afterlife, know this: a card laid is a card played.
No cheating, Nana.
Yeah.
Noted.
No. She would tell me that. She would always say, "Oh, you shouldn't be too competitive," and then the cards would get shuffled up, and it just was like, and I am proud to say that I picked up most of that competitiveness from her. So,
I've thrown a couple sorry boards.
Risk was the one, right? Oh, you're losing. Boom. It will be worth the cleanup of the 200 pieces that are laying all over the floor.
Or the banker as Monopoly. Oh,
Oh yeah.
love
You
being
know,
the banker.
as a kid, I loved Monopoly. As an adult, I'm like, oh,
So
make it
long.
stop. I know. Make it stop. Oh, Lord. I still like Clue. Clue is
I
always
love Clue.
no, Clue is awesome. Okay, so one of us is going to have to pack the Clue board when we go to. Well, no, you know what? They probably got them for sale in Australia, so I'll just make
Maybe
that
it's
part of the
like
deal. In
maybe
addition to
it's
feed
like tropically. Yeah.
Australian suspects.
They're like, no,
Yeah,
no more money in the bank. Wait, no, that was not Australian. I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
In
I
my
think Colonel
head?
Mustard with it.
Wait,
In my head, I think Colonel Mustard has an Australian accent anyway.
I could get behind that.
Yeah. Eric, Maddie, where can we find you online? Eric first. This time, I think it was, and then we'll go, and then Maddie gets to finish up.
Well, I'll say our book is available on all the platforms. We also have bedogivelove.com as a website. We will be posting our 5-minute interview that we were talking about in Australia as soon as we get the footage. That'll be up there so you can see Maddie in everything she described earlier after the UV of 6 experience. Right there for everyone to see. You look great, baby, by the way. Just
I
saying.
haven't seen anything, so if you could send
I've
me that, that would be
just seen
cool.
some pictures and they look awesome. But
Well, send me
anyway,
one.
so coming soon, all of that, bedogivelove.com. Um, that's probably great. You can find me on LinkedIn. Eric CTO is what I go by. And
Awesome.
Maddie.
Maddie?
Well, um, LinkedIn. I
Mhm.
do need some more connections, so everyone go connect. I think it's Madeline Larson, but Madeline. I had to learn how to spell that in first grade, so yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Um, I mean, my TikTok, I don't, no one wants to see my TikTok. I do have a viral video, but you probably don't want to see it. So
How many
I'll
views?
leave, huh?
How many views?
Oh, wait, give me like 2 seconds. Like 2 seconds, because I don't
Because
like
okay, yeah, let me know
you have
because
false senses.
Darcy just passed for her entire catalog 500,000.
2.7 million.
See, there you go. I knew it.
And then 508,000 likes. But who's counting?
That's impressive.
So, yeah, not TikTok, but gosh, if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, it's also Madeline Larson. So,
Okay. All of those links will be in the show notes. All of those links will be in the show notes, he said, pluralizing it. Eric, Maddie, this has been an incredible conversation. I can't wait till we can catch up in person again. But thank you both so much for helping people fry their chickens, for frying your own chickens. And if you're out there, give us a like, give us a share, and fry your chickens.
Thanks,
yay,
Phil.
thank you.
Hey, it's Phil. Like today's show? Well, you'll clucking love my Fry Your Chickens newsletter on LinkedIn and Substack. Links are in the notes.